So here's a quick paper I want to share with you guys. Star count biases, and I expand them with stellar metamorphosis. The title of the article is, or the paper is, or the abstract. It is observed that stars evolve into what are called planets and exoplanets. This meaning planets, exoplanets are simply evolving stars. Therefore, the biases in counting stars need to be expanded considerably to account for transients and outdated classifications. Now, I should make another video overviewing the classification issue, but I'm sure all my listeners already know this. The top three ones, 1, 2, 3, these are basically cut and paste from Wikipedia, and they're fairly simple to understand. Stars vary far more in intrinsic brightness than they do in distance. All that means is some stars are a lot brighter than others, even though they can be at the same distance. So that's a huge problem, because it means something like the sun would be 1,000 light years away, and it would be less visible versus the sun that's obviously in the sky at the moment. Our line of sight through the Milky Way galaxy is interrupted by great clouds of dust and gas, so it basically means we can't see them, even if we were to have supreme telescopes and, all the technology in the world. You just can't see them. It's just basically walls of this stuff out there. And the third one is the sun is located in a disk of the Milky Way galaxy, so there's a problem that some stars are more common in spiral arms than the disk between the arms. So that's another problem with counting them, because some areas of the galaxy are going to have more stars than others. So that's a big problem. And then on to the three more that I added. I have here: the vast majority of stars lack strong visible spectrums, so they can only be indirectly observed. And I'll read this out to you because this is very important to understand. This leads to a bias in itself concerning a type of indirect observation called a transit. Everybody knows about the transits. The majority of star systems with older stars cannot be observed via transits. Most evolved stars that orbit younger ones have an angle that does not allow for a dip in the light curve of the host, as well have orbital periods far in excess of 1 Earth year. As an example, even if we had a line of sight transit for an object like Neptune, as observed for another star system looking at us, it wouldn't occur for 165 Earth years, and to confirm the transit wouldn't happen for another 330 years, the second transit. That's why a lot of the transit data we have happens to be very short, because we can confirm they keep on spinning and spinning and spinning, and we can see that there's a pattern there. But the majority of the objects in our solar system, you can't even confirm those within a year of observation. I think Mars, it's like over 500, its year is like 400 or 500 days. It would take observation far, far beyond the lifetime of some telescopes even. Like, the Kepler has only been around for a couple years, yet to see something like Neptune in another system, Kepler would have to be up there for over 300 years. That's insane. And as well as the angle of the evolved stars. Most of the stars that are in the galaxy don't even transit. You can't even see them transit because they orbit at angles that are impossible to see. Number 5, the vast majority of stars are physically smaller than brown dwarfs, so direct observation is impossible with current technology, and even transit data can and still does miss them. This is very true. The transit data can and still does miss them. This means there are older evolved stars that are in the Kepler and all those other space telescopes and ground telescopes data that they're looking directly at, but they just can't see them because the star's too bright. The transit was too shallow. And as well, the vast majority of stars are physically smaller than brown dwarfs. I estimated the amount of water worlds in our galaxy to be 7.4 trillion. Yes, 7.4 trillion water worlds in our galaxy. That's a whole hell of a lot of real estate to explore. So if we have spaceships in the future, we should make sure that they're equipped to dive into the water so we can go solar system hopping, so to speak. Number 6, stars still have the label planet exoplanet, so giving an accurate star quote count will miss the overwhelmingly huge percentage of stars that have cooled significantly and begun the differentiation of their interiors over many hundreds of millions of years. That being said, the star count biases are always going to be there. What's good about stellar metamorphosis is that we can go ahead and understand that the majority of the stars are evolved and evolving and are physically smaller than brown dwarfs, as well as they lack strong visible spectrums. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go ahead and post this to the bottom, and if you want to check it out, go right on ahead. But this had to be written because astronomers, they're going to continue teaching their students that the evolved stars, such as Earth, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, and all the other objects in between those masses and size ranges, are not stars, that they're somehow these separate objects, which just simply isn't true at all. That's outdated information and needs to be replaced immediately. All right, y'all. Oh yeah, today is October 5th, 2018.